Bhangarh had always been silent at night, but on that particular evening, the silence felt alive, as if the fort itself was holding its breath. The sun drowned slowly behind the Aravalli hills, painting the sky in shades of blood red and ash, and the ancient stones of Bhangarh Fort absorbed the fading light like a dying memory. Locals locked their doors earlier than usual, oil lamps trembling in their hands, because the wind carried whispers that did not belong to this world. Travelers who ignored warnings felt a strange pressure in their chests, as if unseen eyes were watching their every step. As darkness thickened, the ruins began to change. Cracked walls echoed with distant footsteps, even though no one walked there. The temples, once filled with prayers, now hummed with a low, mournful sound, like a chant from another time. It was said that on this night, centuries ago, something snapped, something irreversible. A young guard named Veer Singh, posted near the main gate, noticed the air grow colder with every passing minute. His torch flickered wildly, shadows stretching unnaturally long, crawling along the ground like living things. Suddenly, he heard a woman crying, not loudly, but softly, as if standing right behind him. When he turned, there was no one. Yet the crying continued, weaving through the ruins, seeping into his mind. Across the fort, doors that had been sealed for decades creaked open on their own. The palace corridors filled with the sound of anklets, slow and deliberate, pacing as if someone was counting time. Legends whispered that this was the night when the curse awakened fully, the night Bhangarh stopped being a place and became a presence. Veer Singh tried to run, but his legs felt heavy, rooted to the ground. The moon rose high, pale and unforgiving, revealing silhouettes standing on the broken ramparts. Figures with no faces, staring down at the land they once ruled. In the old marketplace, dust spiraled into the air, forming shapes of people reliving their final moments, merchants screaming, children calling for their mothers, soldiers clutching invisible wounds. The fort was remembering its death. Every betrayal, every forbidden spell, every broken promise soaked into the stones began to surface. A sudden scream tore through the night, sharp and final, and then everything went unnaturally quiet. Veer Singh's torch fell, extinguished, and the darkness swallowed him whole. At that moment, Bhangarh crossed a line from which it would never return. If you're feeling the chill run down your spine already, stay with this story, and don't forget to subscribe, because what happened next is far more terrifying than the night itself. When dawn finally arrived, it did not bring relief. The sky was gray and heavy, and the fort stood motionless, as if exhausted from screaming all night. Villagers who dared to look toward Bhangarh noticed something horrifying: no birds circled the ruins, no insects buzzed, and no sound of life existed within its walls. Veer Singh was never found, but his footprints ended abruptly at the gate, as though he had vanished into thin air. Over the following days, those who entered the fort during daylight reported strange marks on the walls, handprints that appeared overnight, scorched black, some small like children's, others impossibly large. Priests were called, prayers were recited, but the air inside the fort rejected every holy word. At sunset, the whispers returned, louder and angrier, as if the spirits realized they had been disturbed. People began to dream of Bhangarh even if they had never visited. Dreams where they walked endless corridors, chased by shadows that mimicked their own voices. The legend spread that the curse had finally claimed the fort entirely on that night long ago, killing not just people, but time itself. Bhangarh no longer decayed like other ruins, it remained trapped in its final breath. Some nights, travelers claimed to see lights moving through the palace, reenacting royal celebrations that ended in screams. Others heard laughter turning suddenly into sobs. A scholar who stayed too long wrote in his journal that the fort was not haunted by ghosts, but by moments that refused to die. He vanished shortly after, leaving behind only his final sentence: Bhangarh is awake. Even today, as the sun sets, the fort seems to lean toward the darkness, waiting. Authorities warn visitors to leave before nightfall, not just for safety, but because no one truly leaves Bhangarh after dark. The fort takes something with it. Maybe a memory. Maybe a piece of the soul. The night Bhangarh died was not the end, it was the beginning of an eternal echo that still calls out to the living. And as you listen to this story, ask yourself, if places can remember pain, what happens when they remember you? If you want more haunting stories, hidden histories, and mysteries that refuse to sleep, make sure you subscribe to the channel, because some stories should never be forgotten, and some nights never truly end.